Hi guys, today we cover the Accurist MB451. In this review we'll go through the style, features as well as dimensions of this watch. So without further ado, let's get started. This is a sports style watch. It's in a stainless steel with gold highlights and it has a blue face with a chronograph finish. The gold highlights are on the bezel, the strap and also the buttons, the push buttons. They have a nice gold finish to them. The strap is a loose stainless steel type with the gold highlights running down the middle. It has a double lock-in deployment clasp which has a few adjustment pieces, so you can adjust it to different wrist sizes, and we have a screw-on stainless steel back. The bracelet clips together quite nicely with a lock to lock it in place, and it has the manufacturer's logo in the buckle of the clasp. As I said, this is a chronograph face watch. That means it's got a number of dials on the face and also has a function to those dials. This watch has a rotating bezel. The bezel has minute markers in black imprinted in it and also the gold highlights, and the bezel turns quite nicely. Nice mechanism. The inner dial's a blue finish. It's not solid blue, it's got sort of shaped blue pieces that make up the dial, which makes it quite unique. The nice thing about Accurist watches, as always, is that they do very well on their highlights. So the chronograph dials, the hour markers and the hands are all finished in gold, as is the manufacturer's logo and model designation. Also on this watch, on the inner dial, there are numbers up to 31 in gold. Now these are to help with the date feature. As I said, this is a feature watch, so it has 3 extra dials. The bottom dial is the function dial. The dial at 9 o'clock is the 24-hour dial, but also has other functions. And the dial at the top can be both minutes, and I count back, seconds on a stopwatch, or a month for the date function. And I'll show that if you press the top button on the watch. The top button will put the watch into the date mode. Press the button, the top dial moves around to show you the month. The minute hand, second hand sorry, moves around to show you the day, which is shown here. Then it goes back to normal. Now the bottom button also goes through the watch's features. It's a mode button, and you'd find on a digital watch, although this has digital features but it's an analog watch. And I'm not going to go through all the features, but I'll just explain briefly to you what they are. The second feature on the watch is the calendar, which I've just shown you. Second hand acts as the date pointer, the top dial acts as the month pointer. You've then got 2 alarms, alarm 1 and alarm 2, and at the 4 o'clock position you've got a little marker that shows you whether the alarm is on or off, and it has 2 stages. You can set the clock for the alarm with the hour and minutes hands. The second hand acts as the marker to show you whether it's on or off. At the bottom of the function dial you have a 0 feature. This basically just sets the watch up, makes all the hands pointing in the right direction so that the other features are correct and accurate. You have a chronograph, which I will show you. That's the stopwatch. It uses the second hand as the seconds. The top dial is the tenths of a second, so you can time again up to a minute accurately. What it does after it gets to 1 minute, the second hand becomes a minute marker, the top dial becomes seconds. So after the first minute you get still timing up to an hour. Press the top button to stop. The bottom button on the other side resets. You then have a timer function on the next function. The timer allows you to set an hour countdown. Pressing the top button starts the countdown function. And basically the second hand moves backwards. The top dial is the countdown settings. That's whatever you've set to count down up to, I said, an hour. I've set it for 5 minutes here, and it will count back 5 minutes, and then it will sound an alarm. We're not going to bother today though, just to show you how it does it. Press it, again resets. The next feature on the watch is local time. I haven't set this, but this allows you to set another time zone. So it means you can have 2 time zones on the watch, and it's easy to switch between the 2. And then we go back to the normal time. This watch is also 100 meters water resistant, which is why it has that diver style look to it. It's okay for swimming, and it's generally a nice looking watch. Size wise, the face is 26.5 millimeters. The case is 40 millimeters with a 38 millimeter bezel. Sorry. The depth is 10.5 millimeters. It's quite thin, quite comfortable to wear, and it weighs 111 grams. So generally speaking, this is it's used, but it's a nice watch. I've probably had this about 15 to 20 years, somewhere between that range. It's always worked, had a few batteries, but it's a nice watch and it's comfortable, nice to look at. Thank you for watching the review, and please check out the others.